Hey y'all, Average Joe the Average Geek here, and it's time to talk about the Orville. This is my weekly Orville review show, and today we're going to talk about episode 5, titled Priya, and actually guest starred the incomparable, Oscar-winning actress Charlize Theron, so that was really, really cool. There was some good things about this episode, but I gotta say right off the front, it didn't excite me as much as last week's episode. But that's not to say it was a bad episode. There was a lot of great things in it. This episode definitely dealt with, the character growth of Captain Mercer and the character growth of Commander Kelly. That was the vehicle for this episode, and Charlize Theron's character Priya was used to tell that story. Little rundown on the episode, real quick. The Orville's flying through space. They get a distress call. They go to a comet. They find a comet falling into the gravity well of a star, getting broken up. They get a distress call. They rescue a woman off of the ship, and then, of course, things are not what they usually seem. So it felt kind of generic in a lot of ways. We've seen this kind of plot before in a lot of different stories. We rescue a character, and then we find out that that character has ulterior motives. And how does the crew react around this character? So it felt a little generic to me, and so it didn't really excite me that great. But we did get a lot of really cool things. We're continuing to see Captain Ed Mercer realize that his life was out of balance, and that led to his, his wife, ex-wife now, Kelly, feeling abandoned in the relationship, and that led to her to step out, and which was driven the plot forward of the show. So we're seeing Ed Mercer's character growth there, where he's realizing that he should have been more attentive in their marriage, which is a lesson I think all hardworking men and women, for that matter, can learn. You have to have that. You have to find that balance between work and family. Between work and your spouse. You can't just concentrate on one fully, because the other is going to fade away, and our relationships are much more important than that. So that was really cool how this episode did start, or not start, but began, speaking more on these kinds of thematics, and focusing on this kind of character growth with our captain and his ex-wife. Charlize Theron's character was great. She's a wonderful actress. It's kind of a generic character, but, that's okay. It wasn't like some jaw-droppingly amazing, cool new character in the universe. It just kind of felt like the same kind of character we've seen time and time again in these types of sci-fi stories. Which, again, isn't bad, because this is what the Orville does, is it takes these kinds of science fiction stories and tells them in newer ways. We did get some really cool things about the Orville as a ship. We know the speed of the quantum drive now. It has a 10 light year per hour speed. Specifically it says more than 10 light years per hour. So, between 10 and 15 light years per hour is its speed, which is pretty quick. It's pretty quick. It's not as fast as Star Trek's warp drive. It's definitely not as fast as Star Wars' hyperdrive or Battlestar Galactica's space folding kind of jump drive ideas. But it's in line with, nice, quick, little sci-fi engine. So that's fun. We know now that the Orville has a crew of 300 people. So it's not a tiny ship. There's a lot of beings working on that ship. We did, do some really cool sciencey stuff, science fiction-y stuff. We talked about time travel for the first time in the Orville. We learned that there are temporal laws in place, which means time travel has occurred in this society before, to the point where they needed to set up laws to preserve the timeline, to preserve the future, and preserve the past. So again, that was really really cool as well. The visualization of the wormhole was scientifically accurate, which was really cool. The spherical event horizon with the accretion disk around it. I really enjoyed that. The design of the alien ship on the other side of the wormhole in the future. Really cool design. And the aliens, the aliens were really nifty looking. One of the things that continues to delight in this show is the ship design and the alien creature design. Yeah, it does. They don't feel like generic aliens. They feel like really cool, really fresh designs. So I'm really digging that. Now this show just continues to improve, and it even though this episode didn't hit me like the previous episode did, it didn't disappoint. Did not disappoint at all. We're getting an increase in the lore of the universe. The universe of the Orville is increasing in size, increasing in scope, and we're getting a little bit more about it here and there. We're learning more about the ship. We're learning more about the history of the universe. I'm digging it. As a science fiction fan, for many different stories and many different bits, I enjoy getting that lore, like letting us know, little subtle hints about the history of this universe. I thoroughly enjoy that. All in all, this was a good episode. For me, it wasn't as good as episode 4, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I'm really digging the Orville. Definitely digging the Orville. Yeah. I want to say thanks to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. We have seen amazing growth on this channel. It took me 4 months to hit 50 subscribers, and it's taken an additional 3 weeks to get up towards 140. I mean, ideally we'll have 150 subscribers by the end of this weekend, which is great. So we're going to make that big push to 500 now. So go ahead and hit that button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, one of these sides. And get subscribed to the channel. I'm going to announce another contest for 500 subscribers very soon. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Make sure you leave some comments about the show. Let's talk about the show. We're building a nice little group, diverse community here on this channel. And I love it. And I thank you guys very much. Yeah, Orville. Very good episode. Can't wait for next week and to see what happens. And I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Average Joe the Average Geek. Y'all take it easy.